to them to establish a world government we pay taxes to, and they're publicly announcing it everywhere. The Economist magazine, Reuters, Associated Press, every day. Global government's the answer. Global tax is the answer. But simultaneously, the White House-run Media Matters on record is saying, I'm deadly dangerous. And they've got national news asking, should I be arrested? And the White House regulations are saying, start arresting people like Alex Jones. Because I will sit here with clear understanding that 2 + 2 = 4. I'm like the 3-year-old in the Emperor's New Clothes. The Emperor's butt naked in the street at a parade. Nobody wants to tell him he's been conned by the... Guys, will you guys print me the parable of the Emperor's New Clothes? A synopsis of it? Because I need to tell that story today. I want to go to calls, but I need to tell that story today. Because con artists come to town briefly. I'll read the whole thing later if I have time. Con artists come to town, and they say, this is such a beautiful weaving of gold we're going to do that only royalty can see its pure beauty. The profane cannot see it. So they say, here's your cloak. Well, he can't see it, but he doesn't want to say he's not high class. He's not trendy. This is what trendiness is all about. Okay, that's why I make jokes about trendiness, you know. And so he starts wearing it. And he marches in front of everyone. Everybody knows he's naked, but nobody wants to say he's naked because they'll be arrested or laughed at. And finally, they sell him more and more expensive cloaks, you know, for hundreds of thousands of talons of gold and stuff. And finally, a 3-year-old steps forward and says the emperor is naked, and everybody else starts laughing. Okay, I mean, I'm not smart. I'm here going, here they are, world government, poisoning our food and water, publicly, the emperor's butt naked. Okay, let's go to your calls. It's all coming up. War with Syria, openly, Hillary out of control. I'm living in the twilight zone here. AB in Ohio, thanks for holding. Welcome.
Hey, Alex, this is Abe. I'm an OU student senior at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. I'm also a candidate for my local government here in Athens County. I'm running for Athens County Treasurer, but I have 3 things I want to talk to you about, Alex. I'll make them quick. I know you're in a rush. The first thing is about my local county sheriff here in Athens. He's a former Blackwater agent. He went out and trained in between re-elections some Blackwater troops in Iraq, and he's now trying to move our local auditor's raising some heck about it, how he wants to move $200,000, him and the prosecutor, or him and the county prosecutor, outside of her scope of oversight into a private bank account, which I think is just complete fraud, and who knows what could happen with that. And it really worries me.
Well, sir, that's standard with county and city governments. They always have their little secret budgets. But I mean, particularly, where are you located? What's happening?
Well, Athens County, Ohio, southeastern Ohio, right close to West Virginia border. But it's happening. He got a Department of Homeland Security grant for a mobile command center. It is a massive, looks like box truck that can have surveillance, audio equipment on it that can eavesdrop. And they had actually a write-up in the local paper about how it's not really being used as more of a parade thing. But I keep telling people, wait for it to be rolled out.
Well, listen, you know what the feds say on record. If you get involved in your government and criticize them being taken over by the feds, you're the terrorist. I mean, it's incredible. And so it just gives license to all these. I mean, there are police forces of 5 cops where they're buying machine guns, getting armored vehicles from the Army, going under federal training, spying on old Billy Bob at the coffee shop. I mean, I was watching this morning a TSA airport video where a woman didn't want to be patted down, and they call like 8 cops, and the cops are hyperventilating and all have their arms behind their backs and like and you know, running around like they've caught Al-Qaeda with a woman and her kids. I mean, it's like a bunch of paranoid, crazy government people telling us we're crazy because we don't like their crazy evil.
And I have one more thing. This is a little bit point about poisoning the water. Me and about 6 other friends have been going to Athens City Council meetings.
Stay there. I want to hear about it on the other side. And then we'll get Abe, then we'll get to Jacob. We'll get to Nicholas, Dylan, Brian, and then at 8 after, for 2 segments, we got Adam Kokesh organizing a Veterans March that's going to be very effective if it gets media attention, for Ron Paul, then Max Kaiser. Okay, let's go back to Abe in Ohio, listening on 770 AM, WAIS. Abe, go ahead and make your point about the poison fluoride in the water.
Yeah, well, I've been going to our local city council meeting here in Athens City, Ohio, and I've been going off and on for about 4 years since I was a senior in high school. Now I'm a senior at OU here in Athens, and we've gained. There's some people in the movement, and since the beginning of the year, well, we had a new council. So me and my friends and some other just concerned citizens went to meetings, every meeting since the beginning of the year, and just let them have 35 to 40 minutes every meeting at the end of the meeting for citizen out to speak, and we've just been giving it to them. Well, at the last meeting, the law director feels the need to give us a 15-minute lecture at the beginning of the meeting saying that there's an EPA mandate and how City Hall or the City Council cannot do anything because it's a state EPA mandate that we have to be fluoridated over 5,000 people.
Yeah, and again, a mandate means the feds say you need to do it. And then what you bring up is 90+% of the EPA's own scientists have gone public saying it's deadly. They're pulling it out all over the world. So he basically sits up there and lies to people and just implies it's a federal or state law.
Totally agree. And the problem is Athens, the city, voted it down twice in the 60s, and then through a referendum after the state legislature passed this mandate, had a chance to opt out of it in 1970 through a loophole, and they did. But in 1989, on a lame duck council and a 4-3 vote, it got voted into the water. And I've even talked to the head water director at the city water plant, and she's opposed to it, but I mean, she says she can't do anything.
Yeah, sue them. They're assaulting you. As soon as it gets into court, that there's hundreds of chemicals in the so-called fluoride, because they'll argue fluoride's good for you, even though it kills you deader than a hammer over time. Just point out that you start doing the interrogatives, the requests for the exact mix they've got. It's all got a bunch of poison in it. They're going to pull it out real quick and move on to others they want to brain damage. And see, what they do is they make your town pay for the toxic waste. You're paying them to have them brain damage you and your family. Unbelievable. And the open announcement of global government and global taxes, Obama's Economic Council head calling for it. Hillary is calling for peace troops to invade Syria like they invaded and dropped love bombs over Libya so al-Qaeda could take control. That's all coming up. But right now, let's go to Jacob at Indiana. And he's watching us on prisonplanet.tv. Jacob, welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Alex?
Good, sir.
I just wanted to bring up a few things. I'm a big Ron Paul supporter, and actually we're starting a rally in northwest Indiana and Chicago area on the 25th, I think. And I just wanted to bring up a point about that milk that you were talking about, the raw milk.
Yes, sir.
And how bad regular milk is.
Yes.
I went on this diet where I didn't drink any milk for like months, and then I went off of it and I started drinking regular milk again, and I couldn't believe how sick it was making me feel.
Well, I've had medical doctors on, I've had scientists on, I've had old-time farmers and dairy people on. So-called homogenized milk that has been cooked, is nothing but a trans fat cheese that clogs your arteries. It is not milk. See, they ban real milk and then bring in their counterfeit and then call everybody extremists who want real milk while the elite are obsessed with real milk. That's the only reason they haven't shut down the few pockets of it, is because the elite all drink it. And they know the Queen of England, all of them. And because it's milk. It's not raw milk. It's milk. And then the stuff you're given is not milk. It is pasteurized, homogenized, boiled garbage, because they're feeding you feces and blood and pus. But you can't do that with real milk. If there's anything in it, you can't get away with it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and then I just wanted to point that out and, tell you that I've experienced it firsthand. Like, it's not, something that, oh, you drink milk and you just feel fine. But, and then I wanted to bring up all this crap about, Ron Paul always, coming in force and all these polls and everything. Whenever I talk to anybody, anybody at all, they love Ron Paul, unless they're just, one of these sheeple that...
No, there's no doubt Ron Paul is the winner. They're stealing it from him. And I didn't say this 4 years ago. I said there's some cheating going on in New Hampshire and other areas, so he's in fourth place instead of second like he should be, but he's not the front runner. Ron Paul is now the front runner. We've done an analysis, and they're stealing it from him. It's what the criminals do. They're known criminals that lie continually and have been caught in election fraud perpetually. We'd be idiots not to know they're doing it, and then all the evidence is there. Look at how they gamed the debates and gamed the coverage and told you he couldn't win. And now they can't be proven wrong because you're not listening to them. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just all ridiculous. I just wanted to know if there's any, like, films or anything that you have that, you know, would show a good, you know, thing about Ron Paul. That have you put together any films that would be like a quick that you could show people that maybe necessarily don't know all about Ron Paul? Or what would you suggest?
Yeah, there's a video we're about to play coming out of break, and the audio. There's a whole series of these ads. In fact, I'll get the titles of these ads. If you guys can get that off the Ron Paul website for me, that'd be awesome. And we'll give you the name of the ad. We've posted it at Infowars.com as well last week when it first came out. But there's a whole bunch of great ads. I would just go to the Ron Paul official website or YouTube page and get, you know, the ads that you think are most effective and send them to people. And they're refreshing because you've never seen political ads like this. Because it's about the Constitution. It's about America and what made the country great. It's about just being decent people again. But no, we can't have that. We've got to be an empire run by a bunch of psycho eugenicist globalists. All right. Speaking of Ron Paul, one of his big supporters, talk show host, Marine Corps veteran of Vietnam, Adam Kokesh, coming up. He's got a Veterans March planned. You don't need me to tell you that humanity is in a deep crisis. Everyone can feel it. We know a tectonic struggle is now taking place between the forces of freedom and those who love darkness, bondage, and enslavement. Yes, my friends, evil is rising. But take heart. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Recently, New World Order operative Hillary Clinton admitted they're losing the info war.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
The globalists are scared. They've overreached. The future of the info war is in your hands. Join prisonplanet.tv. Download the thousands of special video reports, ebooks, and more, and get them out to everyone you know. Continue to spread the word about the broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and every other globalist propaganda platform. We are going to use their system against them. The info war now goes into high gear. To them to establish a world government we pay taxes to, and they're publicly announcing it everywhere. The Economist magazine, Reuters, Associated Press, every day. Global government's the answer. Global tax is the answer. But simultaneously, the White House-run Media Matters on record is saying I'm deadly dangerous. And they've got national news asking, should I be arrested? And the White House regulations are saying, start say he's naked because they'll be arrested or laughed at. And finally, they're selling more and more expensive cloaks, you know, for hundreds of thousands of talons of gold and stuff. And finally, a 3-year-old steps forward and says the emperor is naked, and everybody else starts laughing. Okay, I mean, I'm not smart. I'm here going, here they are, world government, poisoning our food and water, publicly, the emperor's butt naked. Okay, let's go to your calls. It's all coming up. War with Syria, openly, Hillary out of control. I just start arresting people like Alex Jones. Because I will sit here with clear understanding that 2 + 2 = 4. I'm like the 3-year-old in the emperor's new clothes. The emperor's butt naked in the street at a parade. Nobody wants to tell him he's been conned by the... Guys, will you guys print me the parable of the emperor's new clothes? A synopsis of it? Because I need to tell that story today. I want to go to calls, but I need to tell that story today. Because... con artists come to town briefly. I'll read the whole thing later if I have time. Con artists come to town, and they say, this is such a beautiful weaving of gold we're going to do that only royalty can see its pure beauty. The profane cannot see it. So they say, here's your cloak. Well, he can't see it, but he doesn't want to say he's not high class. He's not trendy. This is what trendiness is all about. Okay, that's why I make jokes about trendiness, you know. And so he starts wearing it. And he marches in front of everyone. Everybody knows he's naked, but nobody wants to admit. I mean, I'm living in the Twilight Zone here. AB in Ohio, thanks for holding. Welcome.
Hey, Alex, this is Abe. I'm an OU student senior at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. I'm also a candidate for my local government here in Athens County. running for Athens County Treasurer. But I have three things I want to talk to you about, Alex, and I'll make them quick. I know you're in a rush. The first thing is about my local county sheriff here in Athens. He's a former Blackwater agent. He went out and